Hello everyone. Today we are going to see what supply chain management is. Let me introduce myself first. While I will not go through introduction of yours, uh, however, we will have detailed introduction in the later class. So I am Rajesh Gupta and I have around 20 years of experience in supply chain and operation. Especially the kind of industry exposure I have is manufacturing as well as services. In manufacturing, again, steel industry, pharma industry, and other glass industry, uh, iron making, mining, all these are industry having I have expertise. If we consider service industry, then I have worked for IT company, IT enabled services company, then distributor, retailer, and some other service provider like consultancy, also in healthcare, few of the healthcare domain as well. We will see the various examples while going through the concept of supply chain from these industries and also see the various model of supply chain in various industry. So the concept from the icon itself, we can see this is a delivery truck and which is basically supplying of goods. We can see this and uh, the second icon is basically chain. So how supply chain is basically getting derived from these two icon. One is supply, another is chain. So that's becoming supply chain. However, it's not merely so easy as we see the two icon. Uh, we always have to link the concept behind it. Uh, so we have series of supply, which is called as chain of supply. And this series of supply could be from manufacturer or from the supplier to the manufacturer, from manufacturer to the distributor, and from distributor to the retailer to the basically consumer. So we can see the various parties who are involved in the supply. That's what it is called as chain of supply, and that's what it is, supply chain. We will see further. Let's understand how big is the supply chain or chain of supply. How do we understand what should be the model of supply chain, or a company has how big is the chain of supply. So we know courier company also have supply chain division. What basically function of a courier company is to deliver, basically to pick up some material and deliver it to the destination to the consumer, right? So how do you think? I mean, it's lesser complex compared to other manufacturing industry or other industry. So this is a simple example of a supply chain company. And similarly, we need to look at the other industry as well. A wholesaler who is selling the product in bulk. So obviously, the movement of material is faster because of they are selling in bulk. Distributor who is basically responsible for distributing the goods from one location to other location. Retailer, so people are going there purchasing something from the retail and coming back to home, or retailer is basically taking material from the distributor. So we can understand the complexity, we can understand how the material flow happens in such type of industry. So we can categorize the size of the chain of supply of the material for second and third is almost medium. However, In the first company is small. Now let's understand export import or CHA. CHA is basically clearinghouse agent who are consistently working with custom to clear the goods. Either it is for import or for export. So these all industries, nature of this industry or supply chain itself. We know any goods which is getting sold to other country from India, we would be calling it as export for India. And if we are purchasing any material out from outside India for India, then it is called as import. And in between this custom clearance happen. So typically this is movement of material either through sea mode or through air mode or through even land mode. But these are the typical function of a import export and a CHA nature of the company. Now the last is manufacturer. So manufacturer have the biggest supply chain network. So we can obviously say the size of the supply chain or chain of supply of the material for a manufacturer is biggest in nature. Why? Because there are many vendors associated with this manufacturer. They are also doing certain value addition to the raw material to get converted to finished good and again getting it distributed to the retailer wholesaler till the time it is getting reached to the consumer. So obviously the nature of supply chain is bigger compared to the nature of supply chain that we have seen in the previous three types of companies. So if we see the objective these industries and we could able to find their objective is something, end objective is matching, and suddenly either few of the company is sending or supplying material or their services to the respective customer. So with this objective, if we will consider this as a objective of the company, we can clearly define now what the supply chain is. Yes, you understood rightly. It's a flow of material or movement of material or services. And all this is happening to reach at the consumer or the customers. So now the concept we know about supply chain. Let's understand the icons which is plotted here has been categorized by nature, and this icon is majorly associated with supply of either material or services. So you can see a material in form, so in raw material form or finished good form or semi-finished good form, it is getting transferred or getting moved from one place to other place, and there is multiple barrier or there is multiple value addition, I would say, happening at the various location. We will discuss this in detail. However, let's move ahead and see the next slide. In the next slide, basically we wanted to discuss, or we will even fact we will do the group exercise as well after going through the detailed concept of supply chain for a manufacturing industry, because we can see here there are various kind of industry which has been categorized as type of industry by its nature. And if we will see, all such industry would have different supply chain model. So for example, courier or delivery would have different kind of supply chain model. Retailer, wholesaler would have different kind of supply chain model. Exporter and importer would have different kind of supply chain model. Service company would have different kind of supply chain model, or manufacturing industry would have different kind of supply chain model. I have given few logo or basically name of the company who are falling under such industry type, by which you will be able to understand the structure of the supply chain or the model function they are following for the respective nature of the industry. So this is very brief. However, we are going to do a group exercise uh, for each of the industry type and their structure. But before doing this group exercise, let's understand how the supply chain model works for a manufacturing company. Because if we understand the supply chain model for a manufacturing industry, you would be able to understand the supply chain model for other kind of industry very easily.